In this video, you're about to discover how Evan had his wife wanting a divorce to this.
So what you said, like 3 to 4 weeks in the course, you went from like mentioning potentially not being married anymore to sex 3 times in 48 hours. Um,
Four.
4 times,
Four
excuse me.
times,
I
and it
missed
was really probably like 36 hours.
And he only used 3 techniques in my marriage mastery program. Now, before we go into those techniques, let me show you where his marriage was at and the mistakes he made before he got there.
So after my grandpa passed, I really started reevaluating things. And I was like, man, you know what? Like friends and a lot of these things that I've wasted time on over the years, like those, several of those relationships aren't even there anymore. And I've been putting all my focus in the wrong place. And at the same time, I noticed that we were having sex like every day, but most of the time she was just like laying there and I'd look at her and she's looking off at this, just totally checked out.
Let me ask you a quick question. Have you invested everything into your family and your career? You made so many sacrifices, late nights at work, to give your family a loving, provided for lifestyle. And you think to yourself, day by day, my life is perfect. I wake up, I go to work, I come home to my family, we have dinner together, put the kids to bed, watch my favorite TV show, go to sleep, and then on the weekends we go out and we go to the park, we go on hikes, we do these fun things. That's a good life. Unfortunately, it's not enough. I call this the default deception blueprint. Society told you a lie, that as a man, once you take care of getting the wife, having the good job, just providing for them financially, that you've done your duty as a man. Over the years, that tree of terror slowly created branches of issues in your marriage that you now are currently dealing with. Now, for a lot of men, these different branches come in the form of different issues. There could be financial issues, the kids, but for Evan, it was this.
This is way deeper than sex. We don't have any intimate connection and we don't have trust and faith in each other anymore.
You see, Evan had this realization that all the issues on the surface that he thought were the problem in his marriage weren't the real issue. The real issue is down in the root. But once you identify the root, then you can properly solve the marriage and fix it.
And as a matter of fact, I was watching a video about anxious attachment whenever one of your ads came on YouTube. And then I went to the channel and watched every single video you had on there. So it was a no-brainer for me.
After identifying that root cause, then Evan used these 3 powerful techniques to save his marriage and get his wife just all over him. Now I'm going to start off with my favorite thing that Evan did first.
I just wanted to tell you that looking back to where we were in February and then doing the exact same thing this week, like it is a night and day difference with the support that you have shown me and the ease of mind and heart. She's like, I've been able to go in there and do that job clear-headed, and I've just been so happy this week.
Now, a lot of men, when they hear this, they're like, great, my wife is noticing the changes in me. I'm winning. Game, set, match, right? No. You see, when you are waiting for your wife to give you validation and approval that things are improving, what's happening is that you are putting her on this pedestal. You are in reaction to her. You are being feminine. She loses respect for you. She sees you as insecure. She doesn't feel safe. And she will always leave you when you're in that frame of mind. This is what Evan said instead.
I appreciate you saying that, but I want you to know I'm not doing this for you. If I was doing this for you, I would fall back and fail. I'm doing this for myself.
Yeah. Look, she has an intuitive sense about her. She can tell that the actions you take, the words that come out of your mouth, whether they're empty or whether they have meaning behind them. And when you're doing these things, when you initially started to do the chores, come over early from work, try to take her on dates, do all the things that she complained about, she knew that as soon as she gave you her validation and her security that she wouldn't leave you, you go back to your old ways. Women have this spiritual sense about them. I think it is spiritual. They can tell when you are being your highest self, and she will call you out on that BS so fast.
Those flaws, you keep the positive and disregard the negative, right? And as a fellow perfectionist myself, yeah, you're your own worst enemy, man. Like you beat yourself up more than anyone else. Like if you talk to your friends and your wife the way you talk to yourself, they wouldn't want to be around you.
Go being the class clown, being outspoken, that was my only way of fitting in when I was younger. So not feeling accepted socially and then nothing ever being good enough for my parents, dude, that was really tough growing up. So I think that's kind of what has formed.
You must start to look within and say, I want to make these changes, not for her, but because you have not been your best version of yourself. And it is your duty as a man to become that best version, to impact the lives of those around you that you love in a positive manner. For this next part, let's start off by seeing if Evan's wife is a lot like yours. He would say things like, my wife is just super independent. She's a stubborn woman. She knows what she wants. She's a very, very confident. At times, she's as cold as ice, 100 feet wall in front of us. And at other times, she's extremely hot and fiery. She just wants to fight all the time. She goes back and forth, giving me mixed signals. I am so confused by her. Now, for most men, they think that that's just the way their wife is, but that's not true at all. The reason she is that way is because of you, because you haven't enacted this extremely important trait. When you do enact this trait, what happens is that all those behaviors you're confused by and get hurt from, they transform. The ice melts away. That fire cools down. She opens up to you. And it all stems from one individual action. Did you catch on to it? Do you see what it is? He took authentic leadership. So you have been lacking leadership in your life. Your woman has been a constant test for you and it's wore you out. I totally get it. Why should you have to constantly be on your edge and try all your hardest and constantly take the energy and responsibility? Why can't you just relax, right? Look, you can relax when you die, okay? You can have moments of reprieve, sure, but with your woman, you must be always taking leadership and own that identity in yourself. And when you do, these are the things that happen.
So I looked up and found the top rated escape room. And I was like, this is communication, fun. Yeah. I told her, I was like, all right, so just wear something cute and put on comfortable shoes. And she's like, where are you taking me? I was like, it's a surprise. And I was like, you want a clue? And she said, sure. So I started singing the Sopranos theme song. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Now, these first two actions are immensely powerful that Evan used, but they're pretty much worthless if you don't change that core root issue. Let me show you.
Yeah.
So she was begging you for sex. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
And I need to pause you there. You lead, you're unreactive to her. You do all these things that we talk about, and then she's coming on to you.
Right.
This third one, it really hit home for me.
And I can't tell you how many times I apologized to her for all the things. And she's like, bro, I have forgiven you. You have to forgive yourself and move on. I need you to be happy. Stop. Please. I cannot rehash the past another time.
The more I do this, the more I realize that the deeper the wound, the more universal it is.
But dude, I'm my own worst enemy. Because of the way I was raised, nothing was ever good enough, man. I never got approval. So I'm very, very super hypercritical of everything I do. I'm a perfectionist. I'm OCD, which that's where my therapist was telling me. She's like, dude, the reason that you're that way is because that is something that is tangible that you can control and you can make perfect, because you can't calm the chaos that's going on inside of you. That's why you're a perfectionist. And I was just like,
if deep down inside of your brain, this child self, and you were first trying to survive in this world of chaos, if it learned certain strategies and all it cared about, this inside of you, was to survive. It didn't give a damn if you were happy. It said, to survive, I have to be this way, right? Whether you're avoiding, whether you're being anxious, that's what you needed to survive. However, it's a faulty way of being happy, and it actually is a virus. For Evan, he realized that he'd rather control the chaos. If he thought, because of growing up in his abusive relationship with his father, that no matter what, you were going to be hurt and abandoned, he'd rather control that pain than happen randomly. And I can really relate to this.
Quit looking at the problems in your marriage and quit looking at what your wife is doing and start looking at yourself. Because I think that you're going to find a lot of your problems stem from within. And you really need to look inside yourself before you go any farther.
I was cheated on in my first two relationships, and I did a lot of self-development after that. And then in graduate school, I met a woman that I finally thought, this is the one that I dreamed about. This is the woman that I wanted to marry. She checked all the boxes for me. She was gorgeous. She was smart. We both played soccer. I envisioned our future together, everything. But life, or God, however you want to call it, has ways of testing you, doesn't it? And her ex-boyfriend moved down below on the same apartment complex as her. Now, I went to school in Chico State. If you know anything about Chico State, it was a huge party school. And I already had a lot of mistrust with this ego self inside me, being cheated on in previous relationships. So after that limerence phase started to fade away, my attachment movement started to come out. And I started to create scenarios in my mind of, you can imagine when she was sleeping over, not at my house, I was thinking, what if she goes out and what if she comes home and what if they just run into each other and then when they see each other, these things sparks start to fly. And I thought he was better than me because he left her for another woman. So she had this need of validation. And I thought, she wants him back. I made it so certain in my mind that she wanted him. I can't believe I'm going to share this with you. But I have to be completely honest how bad things were for me. I remember one night We all went out, and every time we went out, we fought. We got drunk. I came back to her house, and she was asleep. She was passed out. I wanted to control this chaos so bad. I went into her phone. Of course, I knew her passcode. And I started texting the guys her, trying to say like, hey, remember that one time we hung out and all this stuff, and he was acting weird, and I was showing interest in him as her through me. I literally pushed her into his arms because she did cheat on me with him. But I saw how I was the architect of all of that. I created that pain. And even though it may not be that extreme to your level, I know for a lot of men, they are subtly self-sabotaging their relationship by the way they act, because they rather control that pain. This is why I know this so much. I've been through so much pain in failed relationships. I know you're doing this on a subtle level after having worked with thousands of people at this point. You can change that pattern yourself. I haven't been cheated on since I'm with a woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and I trust her with my full heart. You can heal, you can grow, you can change that pattern. I'd love to help you to do that. Set up a call with me down below. Make sure you are committed. Smash the video for like, and is that how you say it? Yeah, anyway, see you in the next one.